Hey everybody, it's Miss Kent with today's comprehension lesson. This is week 2, day 3. Yesterday we talked about some words. Advice, which means that you might ask somebody to help you. They'd give you some advice. Crazy talk, meaning somebody's talking about something and we don't really understand it. Dust bunny, these are those little dust balls that roll around. Hungerly, meaning that you're looking at something in a way that is hungry. Like, when you see in a cartoon and the character's mouth's watering, they're hungry. Stale, that means that something is old food, it's a little hard. Tuft, meaning a little piece of fuzz. Heaved, meaning something was heavy and you kind of threw it. We've also been building up to this story by reading some fables. We had things like The Fox and the Goat, look before you leap. Cinderella, if the shoe fits, wear it. Also, there's another origin with that, and it says if the cap fits, wear it. And it's talking about like a fool's cap. I know you've seen in some cartoons maybe where somebody might be wearing like this pointy hat, and it might say dunce on it, meaning that they're a fool. We also talked about hunger is the best sauce. Being hungry makes you less concerned about the taste of food. So like we like to have ranch dressing or things on our food, make it taste better. But if you're hungry, you don't really care. Let sleeping dogs lie, which means leave a dog alone. They're unpredictable if you wake them up. Never say never, as people change their minds. We had the milkmaid in her pail. Don't count your chickens before they hatch. We also talked about the cock and the jewel. All that glitters is not gold. Remember the cock found that jewel, but he said, I can't do anything with this jewel. I'd rather have one little grain, one little piece of wheat, one little grain of wheat to eat. Beware of the calm before the storm. Meaning with the weather, it's very calm before it gets rainy. I talked about this before. Gold is worth more than silver. Silence is golden. Speech is silver. An empty barrel makes no noise. I haven't talked about this one. Empty thoughts, and this is what this means. This is one I hadn't heard. I've never heard myself. Empty thoughts of a silly person. Empty thoughts of a silly person do not have a lot of credit. So an empty barrel makes the most noise, So someone who does not have good information to share, maybe they can't add to the conversation, but they're making the most noise, and nobody wants to hear what they're talking about because they're not talking about the conversation. They're not staying on topic. An empty barrel makes the most noise. And then I had said, don't put off tomorrow what you should do today. There was a last two. Take the bull by the horns. You might have heard somebody say that before. And it basically, ranchers would have to catch a bull to control it. If they didn't grab the bull by the horns, they could be bashed or stabbed with the horns. So to control a bull, a rancher would grab the bull by the horns. So if somebody says to grab the bull by the horns, that means to take control of the situation. Also, make hay while the sun was shining. Farmers had to gather their hay by hand. They wanted to gather it while the sun was shining and not when the sun was down, because dry hay is easier to gather. Dry hay is easier to gather. When the sun goes down, dew sets on that hay and it becomes wet. So make sure you make the most of the opportunities you have. Now, in our last video, we had read about Harris Burdick, who left all these images at the publisher's office and never came back. And I told you to kind of think about inferring about this picture. Under the rug. 2 weeks passed and it happened again. Have you been thinking about what happened? Well, today I'm going to read a story. And this is just a book some authors put together of the different pictures that I showed you last time. This story is by John Shazinski. Now remember, think about our picture. Maybe I'll hold it up. when I hold it up as I read the first page because I can hold it up. I think I can. Maybe not. Let me see. Hold on. And I prop it up where you can see it. Hold on. I'm going to try to make a little stand. It's not tall enough, is it? Okay, let me push that back a little farther. Well, that's a little better than nothing. So think about our picture now. Remember, there's something under that rug. You should always listen to your grandma. It might save a life. Grandma says a lot of crazy things. Things like, look before you leap. If the shoe fits, wear it. Sit up straight. So you never know what is really good advice and what's just crazy talk. Remember, advice is when you tell somebody something good to do, and crazy talk is when you're just talking about nothing. But grandmas know a lot. You should listen to them. I should have listened to my grandma. It started on Wednesday, 5 Wednesdays ago. So if I say 5 Wednesdays ago, I mean 5 weeks ago. I know it was a Wednesday because Wednesday's sweeping day. Every Wednesday we sweep the house, Grandma and I. Grandma sweeps the kitchen, and I sweep the living room. At breakfast that morning, 5 Wednesdays ago, Grandma told me, hunger is the best sauce. Let sleeping dogs lie. The sweater and bow tie make you look like an old man. So it seems like Grandma's giving 2 good bits of advice and then 1 crazy talk. But let's see how this goes. I was sweeping and thinking that I like my sweater. I like my bow tie, which is probably why I forgot the other things Grandma always says. Never sweep a problem under the rug. Now, I forgot to tell you the origin of that phrase. If you think about it, a rug only covers part of a room. Think about our rugs in our classroom. If there is dirt on the floor and you're in a hurry, you might be tempted to sweep the dirt under the rug, to hide the dirt. Never sweep a problem under the rug. What happens with that dirt when it's under the rug? I finished sweeping the living room. I put away the dustpan. I was just walking into the kitchen when I saw the dust bunny under the couch. I swept the dust bunny under the rug. And I didn't give it another thought until the next Wednesday. That morning, Grandmother said, never say never. Don't count your chickens before they hatch. What happened to that cake that was on the table? In the living room, I swept up a trail of cake crumbs that disappeared under the rug. I lifted up the rug. The trail led straight to a clump of hair, and crumbs and dust, and 2 glowing red eyes that looked very angry. The dust bunny had grown into a dust tiger. I dropped the rug. I couldn't tell Grandma, so I put the end table over the lump in the rug. So in that picture, he's got that little table. He didn't fix the problem. Instead, he just covered it up again. That worked sort of okay for about a week. Then the cat food started to disappear. Something got into the garbage under the sink. I tiptoed into the living room. I peeked under the rug. I saw a huge twisted knot of hair, dirt, liver-flavored kibbles and bit pieces, ground coffee, orange peels, 2 chicken bones, and those angry red eyes staring hungrily at me. The dust tiger had grown into a dust devil. I dropped the rug in a panic. The lump I had swept under the rug heaved, Remember, that means it's like throwing itself. The lump growled. I knew I had to take the bull by the horns. Remember, take control of the situation. I had to strike while the iron was hot. Now, that's one I forgot to go over, too. There's, like I said, this story's crammed full of phrases. Strike while the iron's hot. Blacksmiths, those are the guys that they make things that are metal, and they have to heat the metal up, and then they hit the metal to make it form. So blacksmiths want to strike the metal while it's hot. So that means you want to do something right then. Don't miss the opportunity. I had to strike while the iron was hot. I had to make hay while the sun was shining. I dragged the bookcase over and dropped it on the bulge in the rug. The bulge is the big bump. Something squeaked. Something groaned. Then it was quiet. The bookcase leaned against the wall a bit crooked, but everything was fine. Everything was fine. I went back to sweeping every Wednesday. Grandma went back to saying, all things that glitter are not gold. Beware the calm before the storm. Those pants make you look fat. A week passed, nothing happened. I might have dropped a few eggshells, a bag of stale cookies, and a turkey neck or two in a certain corner of the living room to keep things calm. So what is he doing? He's actually feeding that dust devil. There was no more outbursts, no more attacks. Everything was fine. 2 weeks passed, and it happened again. This morning, Grandma said, silence is golden. An empty barrel makes the most noise. Where did that cat disappear to? I followed a trail of cat hair out of the kitchen. I knew where this trail was leading, but I followed it anyway. I followed the trail into the living room. I followed the trail to the edge of the rug. I slowly, carefully lifted up the corner of the rug with the end of my broom. Nothing. A smudge of dirt. A single small tuft of red cat fur. And a dusty copper penny. Then it attacked. A mad tangle of dust, dirt, fur, yellow-hardened cake crumbs, molded bones, eggshells, turkey necks, liver-flavored kibbles bits, fingernail clippings, cat pieces, hair, fangs, and those 2 red eyes lunged for my leg. The dust devil had turned into a dust demon. I stopped the hungry monster's charge with the bristles of my broom. I flattened the awful thing with the smack of a chair. It heaved. It snarled. I swept it back under the rug. I should have listened to Grandma. I should have saved a life. But the dust demon needed more. And there was only one thing to do. I remember something else Grandma said. Don't put off until tomorrow what you can do today. I figured it was the least I could do. I listened to her one last time. I called out, Grandma, could you come into the living room? Now, as you were listening to that story, Grandma gave a lot of good advice. However, Grandma did have some crazy talk in there. She said things like, hunger is the best sauce. Let sleeping dogs lie. And then she'd say, that sweater and bow tie make you look like an old man. So she would say 2 great pieces of advice, and then she'd say one crazy thing. Look before you leap. If the shoe fits, wear it. Sit up straight. Really, all those things are very important. Never say never. Don't count your chickens before they hatch. What happened to that cake that was on the table? All that glitters is not gold. Beware the calm before the storm. Those pants make you look fat. Silence is golden. An empty barrel makes the most noise. Where did that cat disappear to? But we do need to remember, silence is golden and speech is silver. So while we're at home, it might be important to listen to some of the things our moms, dads, grandmas saying. And most important with your schoolwork is, don't put off until tomorrow what you can do today. If that boy had swept that one little dust bunny up, it would not have snowballed into the larger problem that ate the cat, that ate the cake. And then in the end, he had to still deal with the really big problem, where if he had started out and dealt with the small problem, there would have been no issues. Now in the next video, I am going to give a writing assignment, and I'm going to let you choose from one of the pictures, and I'll show them again. But for today, that's all. Have a great day. See you soon.